So for example, the set that I am talking about today is a C curl base. My rule of thumb will be maybe like 3 spikes and then 3 fans and then 3 spikes and then 3 fans. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Marina. I am a certified lash tech based in Toronto, Canada, and I like making lash extension videos. And today we are going to be talking about wispy sets and the different styles of wispy sets that I provide for my clients and the different methods that I use. Before getting into this video though, I just want to make a disclaimer. If you hear some background noise, I live with roommates, so they be doing their roommate things, living their lives, so you might hear some noises. Apologies in advance. And also, although I do like to make lash extension videos, I'm going to be probably leaning in to making a lot more other videos related to like my journey as an entrepreneur and some of the struggles that I might be going through and getting a little bit more personal with you guys. That was something that I wanted to do in 2023 and unfortunately it just didn't work out. So 2024 is the year that you guys get to know me a little bit, see my personality as well. With that being said, let's talk lash extensions today because that's what we're here for. We are going to be talking about wispy sets. Now, I actually provide 2 types of different wispy sets, and one of them is using a layering method where you have like a base curl and then on top you add spikes, and then the other one is more alternating with fans and spikes. One of them I'm actually thinking about getting rid of, and that's the alternating one. I'm not too sure if I want to keep this in my menu. I don't know if I should get rid of it just yet though, because I know that some of my clients actually really do like this set, so I'm gonna have to be kind of picky and pick and choose which ones I should keep and which ones I should leave out. So that's also something that you guys can do too, is play around with your menu, see what's in demand, and see if you can get rid of some stuff, because it is better to kind of, you know, declutter the menu. First things first, I want to talk about the layering one. The reason I want to talk about this one and why I'm kind of excited to talk about this one is because I believe that it's so elegant looking. It's actually probably one of my favorite sets to do. It's one of my favorite sets to provide. It's not only fun to do, but it's also really satisfying at the very end. I love my wispy sets and I want to kind of go in depth on how I create them. So here are some examples of the different wispy sets that I have done in the past. I've also shown this in my last video. I've only started doing this recently, so I don't actually have a lot of footage on it, but the more that I do this set, and if I adapt any techniques, I'll make sure to make updated videos. So getting into the set and how I do it, I basically just start off with a base that is a curl down from the spikes. So for example, the set that I am talking about today is a C curl base, outer corners tapering off with a CC curl, but all the spikes are D and then DD curl on the outer corners. This allows me to create a very wispy set that allows the spikes to be more prominent. And when the spikes are more prominent, it allows you to really see them and like make them stand out. And then that baseline, the lash line, is nice and dark and dense and gives you that eyeliner effect. Now I love the eyeliner effect because it allows you to look like you're wearing makeup without having to put on makeup and not having to put on so much eyeliner and eyeshadow, but you can also have those spikes to make it look like mascara. And I think that's why it's really popular. Now that's also a big reason why I go a curl down, because if it's curly all across on the baseline, sometimes those spikes can get hidden and lost within them, especially if you're not layering properly. With this set, layering is honestly everything. If you don't layer properly, your spikes will get lost and they won't be prominent. You can layer different ways. Sometimes what I like to do is just keep all of the baseline a C curl, which is what I'm doing in this set. But sometimes what I'll do if I want more wisps and the wisps to stand out, I'll layer down on the bottom layer. I'll use the same curl as the spike, but go down a length. So let's say, for example, I'm doing 8 to 12 a doll eye wispy set for the base. So if that's 8 to 12, I usually like to go 3 millimeters up from the length of the base. So let's say the inner corner is 8 or 10. I'm gonna go 8, 9, 10 as the first spike, or I'll go 13 with a 10 and gradually just increase that way, and the longest lengths would be like 15. I don't really like to go too long with these wispy sets, but again, if someone's asking for something more dramatic, by all means, go ahead and give them dramatic. But usually 3 millimeters is my rule of thumb, just so that they really stick out. However, if you are layering properly, you can even go down a length and go 2 millimeters up from the base. But for me, I honestly have kind of played around with these types of sets, and 3 millimeters is my sweet spot. Again, people do this set very differently, so make sure to just cater these sets to what you like and the styles that you're trying to make, and always adapt them. So usually I do like to do C and then D curl for the spikes. However, in the past I have done a C curl base with a tapering out with a D curl on the very outer corners, and then I will use a CC curl throughout the eye for the spikes, and then a double D curl at the very end. Now that double D curl though will show, because CC to double D is quite a jump, but it's still very elegant, very wispy, and I think it does give more of a natural curl. If your client has really curly eyelashes, this is a great way to kind of break down that curliness so that it's not too dramatic. However, I do find that even with curly eyelashes, the D curl doesn't look too crazy, especially because that baseline is a C curl. I also do want to experiment more with different curls, so hopefully in the future I'll be able to do that. So next we have the other wispy set that I provide, and this one is not using any particular layering method. It's actually just more alternating fans and spikes, but being intentional when you add the spikes. So what I like to do is, usually my rule of thumb will be maybe like 3 spikes and then 3 fans and then 3 spikes and then 3 fans. The thing that I will emphasize is to not use fans that are too dense. And that especially goes for like mega volume sets as well, because if you're using mega volume fans, it can get really dense, and then again, those spikes get lost. They'll still show through, don't get me wrong, they'll still show through, but they tend to get lost. So I try to keep my fans maybe at like a 5D, 7D at most, but even then that's pushing it. I like to keep them very airy and really wispy looking, and I don't want to make the fans too intense. Also, what I like to do is I don't use any bonder at the very end. Sometimes if I'm doing a strip lash look, I'll add a little bit of bonder to the spikes so that the spikes look very spiky. But in terms of the wispy set, you want like an airy look. It's very elegant. You want it to be a little soft. So in order to achieve that look, you don't want it to be too crazy, so I don't really add too much serum to it. And this set is great for people who love a volume set, who likes something a little bit more dramatic, but they just don't like that dense. I always get my clients coming in being like, okay, I want lash extensions, but I don't want them to look like caterpillars. And I get it. Sometimes it can look very bold, but sometimes that's just the look that some of my clients want, that bold, thick look. But the girls that don't want it, don't want it. I personally don't really like that kind of bold look either. I do like to break up my volume sets with a few spikes here and there. Even when I provide fluffy sets, I do break up that fluffiness by adding just a little bit of spikes, and it adds just a nice texture and dimension to the set. So when I do these wispy sets, I usually give them to the girls who are maybe looking for something a little bit more dramatic than the wet lash, but not as dense as a volume fluffy. And it's great for vacations. It's great for people who are going away. I gave this set to someone who was a bride, so I mean, this set is so versatile, and that's why it's one of my favorite. So let's talk about how you can sell sets. So because they are more customizable sets, I do charge a little bit higher for them. That way we can kind of customize this set to what the client wants, and obviously you want to always give what the client wants. I usually upsell the first Wispy set, so I just kind of tell them, look, if you like the strip lash set, but you want something that has a little bit more of an even fallout, I might consider the Wispy. Because I did have a girl come and want the strip lash set for vacation, and I was kind of like, look, during vacation you're gonna probably be swimming, you're gonna be sweating if you're going to a tropical place, and there's gonna be quicker fallout. I think the Wispy set has a really elegant fallout. I think it's a more natural fallout, so I kind of sold her that set. And then in terms of the other set, that's like also a great vacation look, or a girl that's going fluffy volume, but then she's kind of like, oh, well, I don't want to do wet lash because that's so natural. I'm kind of like, well, why don't you try the Wispy set? It's not as intense, but it still gives you a little bit of that drama, but then you can break it up. And this is kind of how I talk to my clients about their different sets and how I sell these types of sets. Now, these sets are pretty easy to do. I honestly don't think that there's much to it. Just make sure for the layering one, you can layer in different ways. I tend to not do any taping method. I don't really tape up those lashes, or I don't pick the lashes out. I know that some people use the under eye pad and put them on and then kind of take out that top layer. I just eyeball it. I personally don't really like adding sticky adhesive onto the lashes. And so like a lot of my sets, what I tend to do is I just eyeball it. And when I do eyeball it, I actually find that I can work a lot quicker. You literally just have to look. There's nothing much to it. So if you can see those layers, just lash those layers. I don't know, I don't think that all that taping stuff is necessary, but if you feel like that's something that will help you, then go ahead and do it. I just don't think for myself that it's not that necessary. And then in terms of the other set, the Wispy broken up one, what I usually do is I look at the size of the eye and see how long the eye is, or maybe how big or how circular it is, and see what could be most flattering. At the end of the day, you want to look at your client's eye and really you want to tweak your set so that it's the most flattering to their eye shape. And if someone has a really nice almond shape, I always do try to consider the cat eye for them, just because I think that a cat eye set can be flattering for the almond eye. So guys, that's it for today for my Wispy lash set video. Not too in depth, but I hope that I was able to provide information for you guys on how I achieve these sets. If you want me to go into further detail, I could make longer videos for each set and kind of do a whole full tutorial breaking down my layering and everything. But I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. There's not that much to it. I think at the end of the day, the big thing that matters is just practice. So make sure you keep practicing, ask your friends to be your models, and I'm sure that they would love a free lash set. Thanks guys for watching. I am going to be posting every week. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys can give this video a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any questions. You can also DM me on my Instagram, and please follow me on my Instagram as well. It would mean the world to me. And also you can follow my TikTok as well. Thanks guys, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!